Okay.
What do you got in your house or your?
I build the second marijuana, I build spec houses.
Do you? Uh-huh.
So I've got, this one we're working on right now,
Where?
but, over in Hanover Pines, so we're just shingling that.
Okay. Any interest in the house so far?
What's that?
Yeah,
It's already
it's all-
sold, it's pretty neat. We just sold another one up in Swan.
Yeah, I did a few of those and like that.
We're gonna have it when we started up on First Street, on Swan Hill, digging on, and we just, then I'm gonna be starting over with this one.
So you're looking for a guy to do something for you?
Yeah, come in and shingle and finish the, you gotta trim out the windows.
Okay.
But I have everything over.
Yeah, well,
I have everything, the tools,
to
everything.
check my schedule, I'll talk to my partner and see if it's right.
We only have two guys right now, and I'm getting ready to do
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Select Board regular meeting for this Wednesday, March 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. I'd like to recognize that there is a quorum. Frank told you guys currently not present. Start like every other meeting, flag salute. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next up is public comment. If anybody would like to make any comment at the beginning of the meeting, you can do that at this time. I'll ask you to raise your hand, and then I will call on you. Just say your name and where you're from. Mr. Mike Everett.
Mike Everett, Bethel. First thing I just wanted to mention, I looked at the budget for the police force coming up. It's going up like 200 grand. Is Bethel the only one paying that? Are we sharing that with Newry, or where he spends half his time, or, I mean, I really think we should talk to Newry, because he spends half his time over there. I know this, because they go by my shop every day with Alexa. They are headed to Newry, probably more than they are in Bethel. And if Bethel weren't paying it, Newry's response time would be twice or three times their time. So they're getting the benefit of us taxpayers paying to have a cop right here locally without having to pay anything on it. So I think that's something we need to consider as talking to Newry on that. That's a lot of money. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up. Second one, I just wondering where we were on the
The fee schedule.
cannabis fee schedules.
One day. So we did get stuff back from the lawyer. Did we get the last rendition yet?
Yes, we have the applications we're looking at tonight, doing a renewal application and a new application, separating them.
Right.
And then once we get that, there are fees that are put in these applications here. Those are the fees that were approved that February 2022.
Right.
But once this is finished, what we'll do is bring those fees back for the board to look at another fee structure.
The idea of being like two applications, one for renewal, one for new, there's different amounts of admin that have to go into those. So then we can look at it a little bit more holistically when we're thinking about the fee schedule.
So like you won't.
I'm getting ready to pull another license now.
Yeah.
I have 5 fees for doing the same business on one site. So it's getting,
So most of yours are renewal anyway, so you won't have to fill out like a whole new
right.
application.
Well, one of them
just-
will be another
do
new
another.
license, because it's in a separate building, so. on the
So
same
it'll
site,
be,
so.
yeah, there'll be two separate.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of towns are doing now. They have a new and a renewal, which makes it
Right.
a lot easier.
It's
Right.
gonna be like that warehouse out on Route 2 now,
Yeah.
just a little smaller.
But we're getting there.
Okay.
We are moving.
Well, and I seen that the ordinances was changed, which that's good, because it minimized it, but there's an overhaul coming that's staggering.
Don't we know?
On the state level?
Yeah, at the state level.
Does anybody else need to make public comment in this area? Okay?
Just one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Fees for actually licensure or fees per sale?
It's
or
application fees.
Application fees,
Mhm.
okay.
Adjustments to the agenda. I don't need to make an adjustment because it's
Just
on
that
there,
one
or just
because we
check?
added that.
Okay, so we're gonna do one addition to the agenda. We did have one, copy made for everybody, so you'll see it as J. So 11J, discussion and action to approve Weston and Sampson to submit a Northern Border Regional Commission NERC application for funding from the Catalyst program. Do I?
I'll make motion.
Alright, I think that was a Pat motion
That was-
and a Sarah second. Excellent. Any discussion? All in favor? It is added. Excellent. Alright, first up is gonna be public hearing. This is a public hearing for the on-premise liquor license renewal application for Pac Sun Emporium doing business as Cho's Sun, located at 141 Main Street. So if you have any gripes, this is the time to voice them. I will open the public hearing now at 6:05. Do I hear any public comment? No, okay. So I'm gonna close the hearing at 6:05. And we're on to action on the minutes. The first action in the minutes will be to approve the March 6, 2024 minutes for the public hearing on proposal ordinance changes to the town code. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Frank. Any notes? Okay, so on, this thing right here. Under 2, open public hearing A for the chapter 46 cannabis, in the 1, 2, 3rd paragraph, Sarah, we think Sarah maybe requested that the carbon dioxide be removed from section 46.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I read that,
Okay.
I thought, I know I brought it up, but I wasn't, I think it was just because I saw it differently
And for the public,
Yep.
Michelle has some laryngitis, so we're gonna be doing something weird, but it's not sketchy.
Sign language?
We'll be helping each other out over here.
I'll put Sarah something in there, Michelle's.
Yes, please.
Not a problem.
Any other edits? Okay. Do you want me to have them amend the thing, or we're just good to do edits?
She's already checked.
Alright, cool. All those in favor to approve with the amendments? Great. Approved. Gone. Next up, action to approve, oh, I'm sorry, I have to recuse myself because I was not here on that one.
What did you say?
I have to recuse myself because I wasn't here.
Uh,
I came late, sorry. Action to approve March 6, 2024 regular select board meeting minutes. Any edits on this? I will motion to approve action, or to approve the March 6, 2024 regular select board
sorry, you
meeting
were-
minutes.
If Michelle wants to pass her changes
Oh.
down, I can make them in mine. So which one is that one?
We're talking about N.
And, okay.
Discussion and action to approve a full-time position titled finance assistant to include 2 part-time positions. Approve it.
I can go back and re-listen to.
Yeah, there might have been an approval that we made to push it to budget committee, but I I can't remember either.
I
I
don't
think-
think so, because
We
the
didn't
ones
do
that
one?
we didn't actually have a vote, I did go, but I will re-listen and make
It's,
sure.
it's possible that we did it, because I think that the town manager can bring something to budget.
But I'll go back and re-listen, and if there is, I will include it, if not, I'll just let you know.
Thank you.
Wait, so what was the question?
So on N, with the finance, the new position for, I can't remember the name of it, finance.
So it's re-listen to make sure there was or wasn't a true vote.
Yeah, did we vote, or did we just say, yeah, bring it to budget, and we'll see what happens there?
I know Michelle made the request because she wanted it brought to the budget, to
Mhm.
the building code piece, and I'll double check on that vote.
Does it say who we voted?
No, it does not,
But you think we did, okay.
or maybe we did.
I will confirm, second.
Yeah, I don't remember voting him. Yeah, I thought we just, yeah.
All
But
right,
it's easy enough to go back.
did we have a second on that? Okay, can I hear a second to my motion? Thank you. All those in favor to approve the minutes as amended? Great. All right, acceptance of grants, donations, reimbursements, or sales of materials, we have none, so moving on to section 8, which is the town manager's report.
So I don't have a written report tonight, but Monday night we did have our budget committee meeting with budget committee members and the select board. And I did a complete review of everything that I had completed. Some of it's not completed. That will be done Monday night when I have the rest of the figures, and we'll do that then. That meeting will start at 5. Yesterday, Frank and I met with the county commissioners. Our meeting started at about 10 after 10. We got there a little bit early, and so they were able to start earlier. And we get out of there about 11:30. So there was Frank and I, and the sheriff came in, and he met with us too, and the 3 county commissioners, and we presented quite a bit of information. We talked about the current agreement. We talked about the budget they just gave us. The first budget they sent us on March 1st, of course, was the $600,000. And then Monday afternoon, late in the afternoon, I received a revised one because they had made some calculation errors. It dropped it down to $584,585, which was somewhere around $15,000 lower, which was not what I was looking for. And we talked about the fact that we're supposed to have 4 dedicated officers. There are only 2, and 2 positions are vacant. They did just tell us that they had just approved 2 new positions, but that's not to say that those 2 new positions were going to guarantee that we were going to get two more full-time positions. So we raised a lot of questions about the way they were charging us. I told them that the administrative fee, for one, needed to come out of there because it didn't cost them any more to process 4 additional people that we have for our payroll with the rest of the people. So we should not be charged an administrative fee, and I don't think that the policy, the agreement we have with them allows that anyway. The other thing that we talked about was the non-administrative fee, which is pretty significant. The formula they use, I don't think is how it should be. They're not really all on the same page as far as why the formulas are used that are used. They are the formulas that have always been used. We asked for them to review all of these numbers, and we would like an adjusted bill. The town manager from Dixfield was also there. Dixfield's increase is over, their bill this year is over 400,000. Ours is 585. Our increase is 38%, their increase is 40%. They have a referendum budget vote, and she said that she was pretty certain that that would not pass the referendum. We both asked for adjusted numbers by April 1st so we could meet our deadlines for our town warrants. They didn't think that could be possible because they didn't meet again until the 4th. The sheriff did ask them to schedule a workshop so they could meet earlier than that. That, you know, brought additional conversation from them. And they did say that they were gonna see if they could talk about it, if they had time during the day. Yesterday, they would, you know, talk more about it. Whether we will get an adjusted bill or not, I don't know. One of the commissioners said, well, maybe what you need to do is just put this amount on and see where it flies. So I presented them with a 2-page document that was an outline and referenced several points in the agreement we have. And I gave that to them. I went through that, itemized it when I was talking, and I told them that I would like to have them review all of those points, and that I would like them to get back to us and schedule a meeting to talk about everything I brought up. The other thing they're doing in the invoice, they're not breaking it down and itemizing what this budget is or giving us. It's basically lump sums. And one of the things that I challenged is the amount that they're charging us for full-time benefits for the 2 vacant officers. I said, you're already getting that fee from those officers that are filling our vacant shifts. So you're double dipping, is what you're doing. You're charging twice for that, and you should not be charging us for any of the benefits, which includes retirement, workers' comp, and all of that, because you're already getting that in your budget, so it doesn't apply to ours. I asked them if their increase was consistent with what they were charging us, 42%. Their clerk that was there said that they actually had a 30% increase in the budget. I asked for a copy while we were there of the sheriff's budget that was a little over $2 million. So the point was made that if you lose Bethel and if you lose Dixfield, that's a little over $1 million. So the sheriff's budget is $2 million. And I said, I don't think you want to lose $1 million. But I said, I don't think that this is equitable based on the fact that you have 17 deputies. So it was a really, I mean, it was not a tempered conversation or anything. They said that all of our points needed to be looked at, and they would look at it. Frank, I'll let you talk also.
I think you covered it. I think you were listening, but what they come back with will be interesting. But really, the points were driven hard. They heard them. They did have some comeback that really Sharon and I didn't understand, and we just reiterated what we had said, and they said, well, those are valid points. So it's kind of like a stalemate is what I see. And it'd just be what they come back with. They know the consequence of the consequences, and I don't know. I walked out not really, feeling like I knew what would happen. I know they heard us.
Well, that's one step in the right direction.
One of the things that was said, and the sheriff brought it up, I did have it on my list, but I hadn't said it at that point, but he was asking the commissioners to consider a discount because we're already paying, and by the way, I mean, we already pay a tax assessment to the county every year, and that's increased by $221,000 this year. So the sheriff said that he felt that we should have a discount as well as Dixfield because we're already paying for county coverage in addition to paying for individual town coverage. So because that county coverage that we have is in the main assessment that they give us, we should get a discount back on that. I don't think they really liked that suggestion.
He's
We
going for it,
also
isn't
we ought to also mention that we also let the commissioners know that Bethel spending the 400 and change added a value to the whole county, because we were supporting 4 officers that now were available to respond to calls that they wouldn't have otherwise. So that, there's no place in the contract that could be expressed, but it is part of the equation that the sheriff's department has to take into consideration. They heard that, but, you know, where they go with it is, I think it's a toss-up.
Right.
You know, but that was, to answer some, like the community is saying, Jesus, we're paying for this extra service and other communities are benefiting from it. That was expressed to them in that meeting. So I wanna make sure that
Yes.
it's clear, that people understand that.
Did we talk to them at all about a potential kickback if those 2 vacancies, like for, you know, say there's a vacancy in our 4,
That was part of the conversation.
was part of the
Yes.
same thing?
Yes,
Okay.
and like, we talked about like a credit at the end of the year.
Perfect.
And so then one of the commissioners, Tim Turner, he said, well, maybe instead of like a refund, we could look at it as a credit towards your next bill.
Fine.
And I said, we need to look at how we're going to be compensated for what we're not using. So they said that they would look at that as well.
The way I understand the vacancies, they're not true vacancies because we still have coverage,
Yeah, but
they're
our-
just not dedicated.
But that's what our
Exactly.
contract is.
And that's what,
No,
I
I
mean, we
understand,
pointed
but
that out.
the way it reads, a vacancy, I mean.
Oh, yeah, it's
very
just,
good.
it's the wrong word.
Yeah,
for
it's just
sure.
Right.
deceiving, right.
Should be like
And,
undedicated.
and the other thing is Dixfield doesn't have 24/7,
No, they don't.
and
They
they're
have,
paying almost as much as we are.
they have 3 deputies. And one of the things that Alicia pointed out was that her select board over there, they have real concerns because they say that they never see the bodies in, you know, the deputies there. Like Mike's saying, ours are always sitting in Newry. She's told the commissioner she sees the coverage because she's right on Main Street. I'm on Main Street too, but where I'm sitting, I can't see the Main Street. But that is one of the things that I've heard since I've been here, is that they sit in Newry, but I don't have.
They sit by the- they
We
sit by the
also
town.
met-
I've been seeing them more than
Yeah.
normal.
We also talked about how to quantify this service.
Great.
We have to be able to, we expressed that we need to be able to go back to our community and explain how we know that we're getting what we're paying for.
Perfect.
And so that's another point that was heard.
And Frank expressed that very in detail, so he
Was
did a
it
good job on that.
eloquently?
Eloquently. Very good, Rich.
Just quick question, how much are we paying a year for county coverage?
Right now, it's $422,000.
And we get no credit back from that at all?
No, and next year, beginning July 1st, they're asking for $585,000.
No,
You know,
you're-
What I don't get
you're
is,
asking.
we don't get any credit for that, we're paying for it, but we already have cops here, so we're not using the county. They're not coming here from there for a call, they're already here.
We're already here, yeah.
So they're double dipping. Simple.
Well, that's
That's
right.
exactly what she said,
That's
yeah.
right.
Double dipping by 400 grand.
And that's,
Well,
There's-
no,
Wait,
no,
well,
that's
that-
the
yeah,
total,
that-
that's
yeah,
the
that's the
total.
total.
There's
For
some,
For everything.
Still,
yeah.
I mean, we should get at least half of that credit back, that's insane.
so we'll see what they have to say when
That's
they
just
come
not
back.
right. That's not.
I have something to add to that, is that the thought came to me about how much do we actually pay for police coverage? We pay last year, if we look at that line item, we paid the 422, I believe it's 422. What did we pay that went to out of our taxes for
For the
police coverage?
contract?
Yeah, no,
No,
not the contract,
For the
but
county.
what the
coverage.
Oh, for the
county,
county.
yeah, the county taxes us for police coverage, is that correct? There's a piece of it
I
that's
don't
for
think they
police
have
coverage.
breakdown.
That they
That's
don't,
not broken
Yeah,
down,
you
that,
can't-
it's not broken
They
down
don't
that
break
way in
down.
their budget.
you could do the math.
But
What
we
they-
could get a number of how much of our tax dollars go to police coverage in our tax bill?
I can ask them if they have it broken down that way, but I'm not sure. I think what they do is, they take their entire budget, and then the county, each town in the county pays based on the town assessment, which is how that works.
So how much did we pay based on our assessment? It would be my question.
Okay,
Because then we can get a total number of what police coverage cost the town of Bethel.
Yeah,
So
That would be an interesting number to have.
that would be an interesting number to have. You'd have to break it down further though, because then you'd have to have your total number you put to the county and then each line item of what they use it for, you know? It's a little, it's a
I'm
funky.
just talking about what the town, what it
Oh
costs
my
the town.
gosh.
so, I don't know if this is the number, what you're looking for, but coming up for the new year, Bethel's, tax assessment is going to be $581,869. That's what we have to pay next year. Because our valuation is based on $654,750.
This is 2023.
Okay,
And
so
this is
this is this one.
2024.
I thought that was low.
Yeah.
So we're jumping in our tax assessment from $581,869.
I can't hear this, I'm sorry.
Currently, our tax assessment to the county, we had to pay them this October, $581,869. Next October, we're going to have to pay them $803,779. That's based on our valuation numbers.
And that money is to be used for what?
To
Connie's.
everything in their county budget and townships.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a little percentage of that goes towards
The
the
police de-
overall police
department.
Okay.
It covers everything, just like our budget covers everything we have to pay for in the
Right,
county.
right, I got it.
That, their budget, well, their, let me have that one again, please. So this year, their overall budget is $10,350,000 and 317, so $10 million budget they have. So of that $10 million budget, we're paying $803,000 of that. We are the second highest county, second highest town in Oxford County. The only one higher than us, Newry, is gonna be paying $878,000. We pay $803,000. We're the two highest towns in Oxford County to pay for the Oxford County budget. Because it's based on our valuation,
Real estate valuation.
Real estate value.
yes,
So are we and Dixon the only two towns in Oxford
yes.
having to do
That
additional
have
coverage?
Everyone else is their like
That-
their own,
So they
or
are-
They either have their
Oh,
own police
own,
department,
right,
or
right.
they rely on the
Okay.
county to just
Right.
cover them.
And forgive me for interrupting, are you saying that there's an issue of whether or not they're actually here?
I think that's been brought up before, and I think before we started openly having this conversation, there was definitely an issue of them not being here. But I think since they noticed that we're kind of keeping an eye, I've seen more cops personally.
I mean, but they have an office here.
Yes,
They do.
So, I mean, this may sound ridiculous, but the time clock system,
Doesn't sound that ridiculous to me.
the time clock system, they've got an office. Guy comes into town, punches in, he leaves town, punches out.
Well,
Well,
there's
it
supposed.
won't work with the union,
Good old unions. I forgot about them.
yeah.
We do, I think we did, Frank, did you talk to them about like getting like a tracking of where they are and what they're doing beyond just the report?
I think that would be easy with some.
They all have GPS.
Well, no,
Yeah.
we didn't do that, but we were told
You had-
that, they probably travel 25 miles in their vehicles, because they were talking about equity as far as charging us for their vehicles. And so they said that they probably travel 25 miles a day, right?
Well,
Versus
yes,
the other,
the sheriff was, quite frankly, the sheriff was helpful to us.
Sounded
And,
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
It would, and him trying to help us was trying to break down the cost of what it costs for the patrolmen to be here versus then the cost of them being in other towns and other places. That the cost was less because they didn't drive as much, and there was, that distance, we should be compensated for that because they're not tearing up the cars like in other areas, so we shouldn't have to pay the same rate for that. There's an expense that's not labor, what's that called?
Non-personnel?
It was the non-personnel cost.
Yes, so, that was being explained, is that what you're
Yeah,
referring to?
yeah.
Yes.
Did they have, you were saying that they don't have a breakdown for what the non-personnel
Yes, they
costs
did,
include?
and, do you
Well-
have the bill that they sent us? I didn't bring it in the office here with me. The one that has the 600,000 or the 585 on it.
That wasn't
I have
very,
that one.
that wasn't very
That-
complete, that
no.
seemed pretty,
That just said non-personnel and it
It
was
had
just like one line
it
out.
had the non-personnel and the personnel cost and the administrative fee that totaled the 585.
Yes, so what I wanna know is the non-personnel, that big old chunky number.
Yeah.
Like, what does that include? What is that?
It includes everything in, it only includes costs for the sheriff department, not the whole county, because I asked that specifically. Because when they were talking, I said, we shouldn't have to pay for the non-personnel costs for your county budget.
Right, 'cause we already
And
did that.
does it include just the sheriff's department? And they said, yes, it's a percentage of the sheriff's department, the non-personnel costs. But I asked for a breakdown, and so they gave us the budget. So the direct labor costs are $399,178, the non-personnel cost, $157,569, and then the administrative fee
What's the new one?
is $27,000, yes, $837, so that's a total of $584, $585,
Yeah, I just,
and it is broken down.
I only, cause so this one right here, the non-personnel, we had asked, not this year, but the previous
For a
year.
breakdown.
For a breakdown, and Donnie Jara gave us, like a complete list of like, we have to pay for equipment, we have to pay for cars,
Yeah.
we have to pay for this and that, and me and Michelle, I remember very specifically being like, why do we pay for this when we pay for it in county? I just wanna see that list again, to see if that's been changed at all since the last time that we've asked.
So I think we will see that
yeah,
when
well, they said we had to go to the county budget to get the details.
To get the detail,
And when I looked at the county budget, it didn't,
have any detail?
I didn't see any detail there, I just saw very general,
Yeah.
accounting.
But Frank, you remember when Donnie Jara came here and gave us that list, right? It was like equipment,
Yes.
cars,
Yes.
that's the one that I'm interested in. And thank you. Mike?
So, I've been here through this whole sheriff thing from going back years. So we're paying for dedicated service, but in theory, we're really not getting 100% of dedicated service. So I look at it this way too, is we're already paying county, right? And don't get me wrong, I just don't have a cop in town, that's a plus to the town. But what I'm getting at is, let's say they take a call in Newry or Hanover, we just save them money, cause they didn't drive from town to here. So maybe they should reimburse us like the government standard rate of 51 cents a mile every time they go on another call or something. I mean, because all these other towns, when they're coming from Bethel, that we're paying dedicated service for, the county's saving money, cause they're
Yeah.
not driving from Oxford, they're not driving from South Paris, they're driving from here. So it's a benefit to them too, because they're saving money in that aspect, but also these other towns, they're getting quicker service at our cost, especially Newry. Because they're going up and down that Newry road every day with the sign, the lights on, every day.
We presented all that to them.
Yeah.
To
It
Newry?
sounds like Chris was
No,
on
No,
it.
not to
too.
Newry.
Has someone even approached
To the
Newry
commission.
on some of
It
this?
has
or-
nothing to do with Newry.
No, I'm just
No, I was
saying,
like, adding it to the cost, if we had a regional contract where it was like Greenwood, Newry,
Right,
us,
exactly,
and then
instead
we all
of just
put
us,
in
because
for
they're
those
all
4 people.
benefiting off
That makes
us,
sense to me.
they just are.
Yeah.
They're benefiting.
But there's no, just speaking this way, there's no way they're going to agree to go into a regional,
Agreement when they get it
with
for free.
us and have to pay. They're getting the benefits of everything now, and they're not paying anything, so do you actually think they're going to agree to go into an agreement with the town of Bethel and other towns?
Maybe if we
and
said we
have to
drop
pay
it.
money
The
when,
truth, the truth of this whole story is
Yeah.
that by state statute,
right,
the
They have to
sheriff's
respond.
department has to deliver coverage to the county. What would change if we don't have a dedicated, have dedicated service contract, is that the coverage that we would get would be categorized by priority. So you get the same service because by priority, the police respond by priority. The highest priority goes first and down the line. So if we, by looking at the call sheet of the calls that the police have in this town, there are not high priority calls. So those high priority calls may not be answered as quickly as they're being answered now, but they're not high priority. They're low priority calls. They're calls, hang-up calls are, hang-up calls on 911 is a huge part of the actual calls that they answer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So those calls might take an hour to go back to take care of. But if you have an emergency, like a car accident, that has a priority. If it has an accident with injuries, that has a different priority, a higher priority. If you have a fatality, it's an even higher priority. Those calls are gonna be answered as quickly as if we have dedicated service or if we don't. It's gonna still be answered at that priority. So it's something to, what's coming out of this for me is gonna be something that we're gonna have to look at. And it's gonna be a personal choice at the vote
Yeah.
of how people feel about it. But these are this is the information that we're getting back. It's not anecdotal. It's the actual coming from the commissioners of what they can do or can't do.
As,
Hold on.
so before I was here, I
You
know
might need to
we,
address her, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I know we had our own police department at one time.
Yep.
Did we ever have a gap in between where we had dedicated service and our own police
I
department?
don't believe we did. Is that,
I think we did,
we did?
I think we did.
Michelle, do you know? She's the keeper of the.
I'm just wondering if we
knowledge.
did, how long that was and how'd it go?
Yeah. That's a good question.
There might be, that's a long time ago, and it
Right.
it could have changed some, could have changed some.
So, like you were saying that it's priority, like if there was a car accident in Newry and we're paying for the officer to be here,
He's gonna go to.
he's gonna go to Newry,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
though we
mutually,
may have
for
another
sure.
situation that needs to be
It
addressed.
has to.
Based
Yeah,
on
I know what
priority.
Yeah, yeah, but I
And
mean,
they'll send
it
one
makes
from
sense, of
Oxford.
course, but still, we're paying for that
Mhm.
officer to
Yep.
get there,
Yep.
yeah.
Where does the state police department, state police force stand? in
We
all
don't
of
have
We don't have
anyone
one.
in
very
our
few
area.
coverage, very little coverage right now, they did tell us.
So there are no, in spite of the fact that they are the main state
I
police.
can't remember what our zone is, but our zone, I had to talk with somebody, and our zone has like 2 cops assigned to cities or something like that assigned, and maybe includes Farmington.
That's amazing.
So they are not here,
Well,
for
the
sure.
The sheriff did say they have very little backup
Never here.
from,
Very good.
state police anymore.
You
That's
can't-
amazing.
Yeah, you
So
can't
you
count
just
on
can't
it.
rely on that.
Back to what we were down there for.
Mhm.
Sharon and I both expressed that we were very pleased with the officers in town.
Yeah.
That we think that they're doing a fantastic job. We're very supportive of the sheriff's department. Just that we have an issue with the contract and we need to work through those things. But to make sure that we were clear of why we were there. We were not complaining about the officers, that we were there for that contract. And
Great.
so that's something I think people need to know, that we're not
Absolutely.
complaining about the officers that are here, we're very supportive and appreciative.
Great. Bill, did you wanna add one more thing?
Just one quick comment. I
Yeah.
heard a number thrown out that the sheriff's budget was $2 million.
Yeah.
A little over 2 million.
Okay, if I divide that by 17 deputies, that's $117,647 per deputy, which doesn't seem, fully loaded with all the non-personnel costs, et cetera.
Mhm.
So,
So I
We're
think
aware
there's-
of that.
I think
And they're
there's,
making
Yeah.
less than 45.
oh yes,
Yeah, they're
much
not making
less,
Yeah.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
but if you have 17
which might be the
headcount.
problem.
It is, it is. It's a problem everywhere.
I'm sorry, Bill.
Yeah, if you have 17 headcount, that's the cost per head, fully loaded,
Well, I think
non-personnel cost
it's
included.
not the fully loaded cost. I think it's all based on a fully staffed, department, which is, I believe, 19.
I
Do you
think,
guys-
no, I thought I heard that they were down 4.
They're down,
They're
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 down
down
four,
to
so it's
4,
supposed to be
and they
22.
were supposed to just
So the
hire.
math is based on 22, basically, and that was one of the problems that we
Oh.
had the year before, is like, you're charging us for a service you literally can't give us because you don't have, like, the ratio is off,
Well, that makes it even more lopsided.
Sure does.
So just real quick,
Yeah,
so without dedicated coverage, have they had to hire extra officers over what they generally carry there?
Yes.
No?
well, they
down
would,
4.
if they were fully staffed.
They can't
Is that the right?
They-
hire extra officers because they can't.
Yeah.
Our contract calls for 4 additional officers to the force that are dedicated to Bethel. It's part of what we're down there
That's for
negotiating.
24-hour coverage, so
Yes.
we've got 3 8-hour shifts overlap.
Yeah.
Would it be 4 that are completely for Bethel?
Yes.
Like they
Yes.
wouldn't be doing any
Yes.
other?
They're supposed to.
That's what's supposed to be.
Unless it's mutual aid kind of thing.
And that's what we're, that's what we're there to, discussing in the contract.
All right, does
We're
anybody
very exhausted.
else have anything to add to this before we move on?
The only thing I have to add again
Ma'am.
is the
20.
midnight, it's the midnight to 7 shift. Because after going through all the reports that they've given us since we requested them, I have averaged it out that we are getting 7 calls in those hours per month
From what, midnight to 6 AM or
to
something?
7, right?
Are they just nuisance calls?
Yeah, well, alarms for condos or houses or whatever, hang up, yeah.
Hang-ups.
But it's 7 per month. Not per day, not per week, 7 per month.
Yeah.
Sounds like a county issue.
So,
Do
do we really need the 24/7 coverage is my question. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Do you have anything else in your town
No.
manager's report? 'Cause that's where we're at, right?
I think we just recreated the meeting.
Sorry.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Do we adjourn now?
Yeah. So we're gonna go back to Fox Sons Emporium. What did I do with you? Put you back here, 'cause I'm gonna need you again. Okay, new business, 11A, action on the on-premise renewal liquor license for Fox Sun Emporium doing business as Chosun located at 141 Main Street.
I make a motion that we renew the license for Sun Emporium, doing business as Chosun located at 141 Main Street.
Second.
Okay, any comment on this application? All those in favor? Approved. Next. D, action on Applecroft Catering Qualified Catering Organization, application for catered function. That's this one. Did you guys wanna add anything to this before we talked about it?
No, we were just here in case anybody had any questions.
Okay.
We can,
So it's a catered event.
It's in
for a
your
wedding,
backyard
in our
though?
backyard.
Okay, got it. Does anybody have, or I guess,
And
I'll,
This is the first one that I've had to see, so anytime an event is catered, just because I have a wedding coming up in my family too, does
Let's
that?
get it on the table first.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
make
sorry,
a,
yeah.
it's okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the Applecroft Catering Qualified Catering Organization application for the catered function. And Michelle seconds. Okay, Sarah, these are specifically for places that do not have liquor license, so when you do that, a
Oh.
caterer, if they're gonna be serving alcohol,
Oh,
has to
yeah,
have
that did
coverage.
happen for the mineral in general.
Yeah,
Okay,
exact,
yeah.
same exact
Okay.
situation.
Okay.
Any questions on this application? Okay, all those in favor? Great. Action on the Conservation Committee application submitted by Karen Bulick, thank you. I will make a motion that we approve Karen Bulick to the Conservation Committee.
Second?
All right, any thoughts? All those in favor? She votes. All right, next is D, action on Roaming Eats food truck liquor license application. Food truck. I will make a motion that we approve the application for Roaming Eats food truck license application.
Second?
And this is just a one-time event.
Oh, okay,
for
that's
them?
I was also wondering about that, and think how.
Yeah, I thought I included a little memo thing.
You did somewhere, I
It
remember
is
reading. Oh, here it is,
for,
memo is on the back.
Yeah, it is for an event on 4/20 at the Mill Hill Cannabis out on Route 2 in West Bethel. It's Ben Crotu, they're doing it just for the day on that, thank you, on that day. And they contacted, they just wanted to make sure they were all kosher, they were happy to do the food truck license, and were very professional about it.
Yeah, looks good. They're not dumping anything as far as, gray water.
No, not as far as I know.
They're self-contained.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comment? All those in favor? Good. Next is E, action on the lodging house application for Pause Inn located at 372 Walker's Mills Road.
Make a motion that we accept the application for renewal for pausing.
Second.
Okay. Any comment on this application? All right, all those in favor? Great. Here, or Michelle. Okay. All right, next is gonna be F, discussion and action on proposed amendment to code chapter administration, town manager and finance. I'm just gonna, do you want me to just read this in?
No, we'll table it till next week.
Table? I'll make a motion that we table this item until next week so that Michelle can have a talking voice.
Second.
All those in favor? Excellent. It's her proposal. We don't want to take it away from her.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Take care.
Congratulations.
Good luck, have fun.
Guess we can move ahead.
Have fun.
Bye-bye, thanks.
Thanks.
Alrighty. Sorry, I'm just gonna make a note real quick. Alright, G, action on Sudbury Custard LLC victulars and innkeeper license located at 151 Main Street.
I make a motion that, this is a renewal, right? Or does it not?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I know. Let's see.
You making a motion?
Yeah, or you did already? No?
Did I?
No.
No.
Oh.
I'll just say.
I was like, well, I just blacked out when I did it.
No, I make a motion that we, accept the Sudbury Inn victualler and innkeeper license located at 151 Main Street.
I will second that motion. Any comment on this application?
Yeah, on the first page it says seating capacity 805, and then on the second page it says seating capacity 230.
Say that again?
Upstairs and downstairs, or?
Yeah, seating
So
capacity.
there-
It may be for both of their, because it's the Sudbury Inn and the,
And the Sudbury, yeah, okay.
The inn isn't open, is my
Says
understanding.
105 here, and says 230 here.
But hopefully within a year, like to see that
But I
happen.
don't know.
Oh, that's a different, that's an,
This is the pub, okay, this is the pub,
this is the entertainment center, I think.
so that would be downstairs.
What was that? I don't have that.
Yeah, I did.
I don't have that one either. I don't know what
You
you're
don't have the
talking
second page?
I don't have that.
about. I have the
Yeah,
grease
and
trap
the grease
maintenance
trap.
sheet and
That's all
I
I
Am
have.
I reading the,
You know, you do have something different than we do.
What you got over there, Pat?
hey, I did my homework.
I want to see, because that maybe I didn't get it photocopied.
This is,
Does anybody know the last time that the inn part was
Oh,
open,
this
the dining
is,
room upstairs?
sorry,
The upstairs
Long
one?
that
time
first
ago.
page got on there,
Isn't it?
that's our
Probably
entertainment
went
license,
through
and that will be
the
coming
shopping.
up until next time.
oh,
Sorry.
okay.
And then when
Yep,
Coop
yep.
failed, I don't think
They
it was
presented
upstairs.
both their entertainment permit and this, but I had questions with the entertainment permit in regards to their liquor license, and they didn't need it, so I held that back to have a conversation with them and just put forward. what
Great.
they were saying. Sorry.
Okay,
So we just wanted to.
so we're really worried about the grease
Yes, we're
trap
talking
and the
about
grease
the
trap
attached.
should be on.
So this is just the vitulers, the other one's entertainment that we'll be discussing in April.
Okay. Do we have to be concerned when it says to be cleaned twice a month, but the record shows once a month? For grease trap?
I think that's probably their desire as opposed to state
Yeah.
requirement
Okay, I didn't realize that.
in the end.
I see. What is the requirement?
I mean, it is a little, the only thing that I noticed was like the date of the grease trap was cleaned on 3/13 on the front, but then the log says 3/6. I'm not too concerned either way, it's a couple days, so it means pretty much the same amount of grease.
Twice a month is a lot,
Yeah, it's aggressive.
a lot.
You do have a fair amount of violation going on there.
Well, yeah, well, they're not throwing it down the drain, nobody does that, but,
No.
I would be confident that they're not throwing any grease in.
No, if they're going once a month, that's great.
Is there a requirement for how often? Or
Pardon?
is there a requirement for how
Well,
often?
I got my
Um,
recommendation from the people who clean it out. You know, people who serviced it and all that stuff.
Okay, so there's
Logistical
So it's
question,
different for every operation.
does
Because
wastewater
the
treatment
grease
plant
trap-
supervisor
Grease
get
free.
grease trap logs from restrooms?
I don't know that, does.
Oh, cause they're actually on public sewer.
I don't know that, I'll bring that question to Toby.
That's Toby's question and we will ask him.
What's the
What are you
question?
asking?
The question is, if a restaurant is on the public sewer, does Toby get a log of the grease trap?
Not presently,
Not
that I
presently.
know of, not presently, no.
Interesting. Alright, cool.
Yes, yes.
And you have one in your establishment?
Yes, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Worst job in the world.
Yeah, cleaning grease
You know
traps.
what, you just don't think about it.
I
It's
am,
not-
hold your nose.
Not yet,
I have
all, sorry, all those in favor of approving? Okay. On to the next. H, discussion on the draft new cannabis business application and draft of cannabis business renewal application. The word
Does
application.
Michelle need to talk on that one, discuss that?
Michelle, do you wanna discuss this one? Should we table it? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
this
there
one,
was
this
a
one
re-
was in our packet, and then the CEO didn't like it, so they redid it.
Well, she hadn't had a chance when I put the packet together to do all of her.
No offense.
Yeah, no, but she wanted to clean it up and make it look and do all of that, so as soon as I got that, I passed it on to you, which was this morning, she finished it up and handed it to me. And she would have been here tonight, except her daughter is sick, so.
She would say she had some pictures. Mike Everett.
I thought they looked great.
Oh, wow, wow.
Damn right.
All right.
You feeling all right?
That does, perfect.
That Courtney
Nothing wrong with it.
is great.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So do you want to table this, or are you okay with going forward? Okay with going forward? Okay. All right, so I will make the motion that we approve the new cannabis business application and draft of the cannabis business renewal application.
Did you make a motion?
I made a motion.
Yes, I'll second it.
Okay.
I just
Yep,
wanted.
no, we're not
Go ahead.
voting, we're just getting it on the table so we can
Okay.
pick it apart. All right, go ahead, Pat.
No, I questioned the cannabis store category as, instead of breaking it between the adult use and the medical. On the application, it just says cannabis store.
It does in two different sections. If you look at the top, it says check the classification for adult use cannabis, and then right below it, you check the classification for medical cannabis business.
Oh, I'm
See what I mean?
so clever.
Yeah,
Wait, where?
it's actually the clearest it's
Okay.
ever been.
I didn't catch that.
Wait, where is that?
That's just the top two. The top two lines
You
of
see
each application,
here,
it breaks
it's
it
right
down.
here.
Yeah.
Rec
It
first,
says
and then
adult
medical
use,
second.
and this one says
okay,
medical
yeah,
cannabis.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, thank you.
Good? Okay. Any other comment on these applications? They seem all pretty straightforward. You got anything, Michelle? You okay? All right. And we'll look at the fee schedule after this one. Yep. So all those in favor of approving these applications? Both the renewal and the renewal. Sweet. Everyone bites the dust. Let's see. Discussion and action on selecting a date for special town meeting to raise funds for flood damage expenditures while waiting for FEMA reimbursement. Date proposed is April 29th, 2024. I will make a motion that we move forward the date proposed of April 29th, 2024 for a special town meeting to raise funds for flood damage expenditures.
Second?
I'm gonna be out of town.
Let's see.
I'm out of town.
Yeah, we'll still have a quorum if you don't mind.
No,
Are you for it?
I am.
Mike?
So the-
How much was our damage? Roughly.
Somewhere's around $350,000 to $70,000.
And is FEMA reimbursing all that, or just a portion, or where we?
I would say that we will get what we are putting in. We're having our conference call with them tomorrow, three of us, and, on Friday, excuse me, and, to go into the next stages. We may even get more than what we've, put in for if we can, get them to agree to some mitigation that would improve the,
Like the sewer plant.
if we can do some improvements.
Crazy man.
Then they will give us more to
Raising
make
the transistor.
improvements to
That's
prevent
not our
certain
property.
things from happening.
That's it.
It would be great if that was our property.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. So, on this, raising funds, so assuming that the townspeople decide we're all gonna kick in, is that above and beyond what FEMA would reimburse, or how would those people be reimbursed for those funds once you got the money from FEMA?
No, nobody gets reimbursed any
Okay.
funds. We would be raising money on the town end for the town's repair. But we can't start the repairs until we actually have the money to do it.
Okay.
So it's a special town meeting to raise money for the town to make the town repairs.
So it's a bridge, really, essentially.
Yes, and then what happens is, once we get the FEMA funds go back into the account where we've had to take it from.
So we're just taking it from town funds, using it. and
Yeah,
we're-
is it,
It's approval for to use town funds to pay.
Oh, it's not
up-
raising money from.
Yeah.
No, no.
it's you taking from the general
Okay.
fund to
Yeah.
bill accounts,
It's
so that
to
they
raise-
balance.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
to use
my-
And then
our
it
money to
flops
pay
back
for
in.
the damages, and then FEMA will reimburse us.
Just about shifting money back and forth, basically.
Because it could take up to a year, that's what we've been told. It may not, and hopefully it won't, but you can't spend money unless it's been appropriated.
Has an idea been put on the table about raising money from individuals?
What?
If an individual wanted to donate money, for example, or you set up like a 501c3 or none of that?
We talked about this right after the storm, at length.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sharon.
I was in 5 feet of water in my truck,
Oh,
so
brutal.
I never saw it.
Yeah, you can donate to Rotary and, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Mhm.
oh, well, yeah.
or some kind of dinner at the Rotary.
Yeah. Rotary did a bunch, at that time, and I think still had a little money left over. It's all gone, never mind.
Okay.
Vote, all those in favor of, having a special town meeting on April 29th, 2024 to raise funds for flood damage expenditures. All right, we're in.
The meeting's gonna be here,
Yes.
Monday.
April 29th.
Well, I
It's a
know the
Monday.
date, the
It's a
day.
Monday.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry.
And by that time, the Romy Eats food truck will be out front.
J is discussion and action to approve the Weston Sampson to submit a Northern Border Regional Commission application for funding from the Catalyst program. So this is new. Does everyone want a second to read through it before we move forward?
This program is something that we're gonna set up.
Do you have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we, approve Weston and Sampson to submit, a Northern Border Regional Commission application for funding from the Catalyst program.
So we're putting this on the table first of all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, second.
okay, it's on the table, Frank, you can go ahead.
Why are we doing this so quickly?
Because we just found out about it.
So we can't do it to the next meeting?
No, because the deadline to submit is April 22nd, and the engineer just told us about it, so that's why.
Okay.
Not April, I'm sorry, March.
So Weston and Sampson
Yes,
are the.
Friday the 20th.
The engineers that are
Engineers.
doing the jobs done at,
The Mill Hill project.
Yeah, yeah,
So he called me 2 days ago, and he said he just found out about this Northern Borders grant, where they can apply for this grant up to $1 million for sewer. And Northern Borders, you can apply for grant funding for several different things. And I asked him when the grant applications were due, and he said Friday. And so I told him what we would need to do. They have everything ready to go. I had to provide them with a lot of information from us. They've got the grant together. They are the ones who will submit it on the town's behalf. And so I asked him today to send me some information so you could understand what this is. Northern Borders do grants every year, and I've been involved in 2 of their grants for airport funding when I was in Freiburg. They're very competitive, but I'm also aware of up in Aroostook County someplace, there was a town there that did receive significant funding for their sewer plant, but there's several different categories. And the amount that you get depends on how many people have applied in the category you're applying for.
Mike,
I'm asking this question because this is back to the sewer thing, because I was kind of talking with Natalie on this. I had a directional drilling company out of Colorado, and we did sewer and pipeline rehabs. How much money are we looking at to rehab this pipe? How much? What's, 5 million, what is it? That's the last figure I.
yeah,
Okay,
That's the last figure that
I know you're new, so I'm just going back to my conversation with Natalie is, she was looking into, and I don't know if it ever got followed through, to get an alternative quote instead of just coming in there and digging this whole thing up, replacing sidewalks, everything, right? There's a thing called slip lining or pipe bursting, where you go in with a directional drill, you route out the bad stuff, you clean this out, you slip this polyurethane thing through there, you pull it through with a directional drill, you heat it with steam, and it expands into the original pipe, but you actually end up with more flow in that pipe because of the smoothness of the actual material. And then wherever those laterals are tying in, you just go to that specific thing, instead of digging this whole stretch of pipe up. It's so much cheaper. I mean, has our engineer even given us an option for this? Or, if we know what needs to be done, we could put this up to a slip lining company or a pipe bursting company here in Maine and get a quote on it. I guarantee it's half, if not 75% less.
Yeah, it's less than that.
And it's way more efficient, it's gonna last longer, it's gonna save this town a lot of money. I did this for a living.
So the bid has already been awarded for the project.
Okay.
The town did a rural development, $2 million grant or vice versa, and a loan. Rural development loan, and they got a grant for a total of $3 million, between the two.
So we're on the hook for two.
Um,
The town's on the hook for $2 million.
yes, and so,
Possibly only one if we get this other grant.
this
Okay,
other
follows.
grant will not be paying for that project. This $1 million will be for other sewer upgrades that we can use the money for.
Okay, I'm just asking that you consider any other sewer upgrades we need for this type of, thing, because we used to do it in the middle of cities, and, I mean, it's
I've never
just,
even heard of that before.
it takes,
I did it in
it
Vermont.
takes a tenth of the
Two
time, it's
buildings.
quicker, it's done, and it'll last so much longer.
And I don't know the answer to your
And you
question.
can do it in any type of pipe. I'm saying if we have a new project coming
Yeah.
out that hasn't been awarded,
Well, now we know.
because I talked to Natalie on this, and she was supposed to move forward with it and look at it. And I gave her all the information, I gave her the companies to call, it never happened, so I'm just saying, it's way less than half the cost to do something like this, and it's just,
Can you tell me what that's called again?
we call it slip lining,
Oh, you wrote it down, okay.
slip lining or pipe bursting. I mean, let's say you need to upgrade a pipe, right? You can go in there with a directional
That
drill,
makes all the sense in the
and
world.
you burst this thing with this bigger reamer, and you ream it out, so you make the hole bigger, and then you just line it with a polyurethane deal that it's about, I don't know,
This will be my
a
rabbit.
quarter inch
And it
thick, and
migrates.
when you add steam to it,
Yeah,
it
it's
blows up, and then it hardens, and rodents can't dig through it, you're not gonna have roots going through it like you do clay pipes or concrete pipes, and it's not gonna crack, it's not gonna break. That's on most people we have sewers.
Yeah.
I will ask the engineer to tell me
I mean,
this.
I feel if we got a qualified engineer, he should be giving us that option right up front.
And I don't know if that occurred or not, I can't
Right,
answer that
okay.
question.
I'm just
either.
bringing it up
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, I don't think we got, I can't remember, but how many bids did we get back for this project? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the mill home?
Yeah.
Yes.
for the whole-
because we're replacing how many feet or miles of pipe? Where are we replacing here? I know it's down, is that the one running down?
So there's under Route 2, which I don't think is included in this one, right?
Yes, it's,
And then there's the Mill
It's-
Hill Pump Station.
it's the Mill
There's
Hill
the-
Pump Station and Route 2 sewer
On
line.
Route 2 sewer line.
And there were 3 bidders, Cross Excavation got the bid,
Right.
and TJ Buck bid, and
Someone with a French name.
jeez.
I think we ended up with a lot of concrete repair and that, road repair.
Mhm.
Yeah, the other ones were
Landscaping.
significantly
Guess
worse.
what? You get rid of all of that because it's just where the
Laurent.
drill's sitting. You get
Right,
rid-
yeah,
Yeah.
French, told you.
I just mentioned it, so hopefully you guys consider at least
No, that's-
asking about that, because that is an alternative.
always
to
mention
digging
it.
this stuff up. Because if you don't ask, most of those people will go, okay, yeah, I'll do that for $5 million.
Do you have outs on the, do you have outs on the
Me
bid?
too.
If you were to go to them and say to them, hey, you know what, we just heard of this new blah, blah, blah.
No.
You're
It's already in.
contractually
Oh,
obligated.
yes, we
Yeah.
are. Everything's been signed, everything is
Cause
done.
I was under. the-
There's nothing to prevent him from using it anyway.
So-
Right, exactly. Did that go to bed when Natalie was here, or no?
Oh, yeah, she
They
signed
did?
it, yeah.
Because she was supposed to ask for alternative bids.
It just went out to them?
Yeah.
But not the engineering, right? The engineering was under Natalie.
Then, no, the engineer was already here when I
Yeah,
got here.
the
So
engineering
that
was under
our-
Natalie, and then the
The bid went
bid
out.
to do what the engineer
I'm
put
just
in
saying,
place,
when the
yeah.
engineer engineers it, right?
Yeah.
And you put that out to bid,
Mhm.
you can actually take that to one of these slip lining or pipe
Mhm.
bursting companies and ask them for an alternative bid for that project, and their engineer will look at it,
Yeah,
and they will give you an alternative way to do this than spending the $5 million.
yeah, sure.
And it's much more permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I
That's-
can ask
Sounds better.
if the engineer was made aware of that. That's all I can do. I don't know. if
Or
they
even
were.
ask,
I think she
Cross.
talked to him about it, but he had already had it designed, but
And that
she
could-
had an
They
option
came out
to
last week, that's okay.
give it to one of these companies
Or
that
maybe
gave her
cross
3
conception.
names and say,
Okay.
will you
Anyways,
give us an
Mike,
alternative
we
to
gotta,
this? I know, I'm
we
sorry.
gotta switch it back around, sorry, we're so close to the
No
end,
problem.
man.
And
So back to
Very
this
waiting.
grant, it's looking like, the one question I had, so it's a 20% match, 80% funding. The actual agreement is between Northern Border Regional Commission and the town of Bethel?
will be,
or-
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so is there an MOU being signed between the town of Bethel?
The town will
and-
sign the grant.
Great,
Do we need to pay them to do the grant work, or they just?
The engineers,
I,
it's
yeah,
all, it's all part of what they do in their fee.
oh, okay.
So it's a no-brainer to
yeah,
Mhm.
approve this.
I would think so.
So we're ready to vote.
Yep, all those in favor? Great. You squeeze friends. Alright, we are down to warrants, 12A, action on accounts payable warrant 2024, 36 in the amount of $79,076.26. There we are. We're back to the back and forth. I'll make the motion that we approve the accounts payable warrant 2024, 36 in the
I'll
amount.
second it.
Okay, cool. Any comment? All those in favor? Approved. And then 11B, action on accounts payable warrant 2024, 37 in the amount of $165,929. I will make that motion to approve.
Second.
Any comment on this? This one seemed kind of small this round. All those in favor? Approved. Okay. Select board items? Anybody? No? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Bye.
Burger time.
God, Haley, please sign.
All right, Chad. I'm fine. Thanks. Thanks, Mike.
See ya.
Bye. Bye, Jody.
Bye, have a good evening.
You too.
Right.